Now, what if I told you that some of the deepest pain you're carrying probably isn't from the obvious losses, like death, the divorce, the breakup, but from the ones no one ever named as grief, the ones you didn't even know you were allowed to mourn? Think about it. Have you ever lost a friendship that quietly faded away, left a job that once gave you purpose, moved out of a home that you loved, or maybe your kids grew up and suddenly the house felt a little too quiet? You know, no one sends you flowers for those moments, do they? And yet they still break your heart. Now, if you're ready to hear more about this, then let's get going. See, we're all surrounded by these invisible sorrows. They pile up silently because society doesn't recognize them as grief. And so we stuff them down, we brush them off, and we keep moving until one day we wake up wondering why we feel anxious, heavy, or completely disconnected from ourselves. Now, I know this personally because years ago I experienced a loss that no one around me seemed to acknowledge. It wasn't the kind people knew how to talk about, and so I carried it alone. And honestly, that silence felt heavier than the loss itself. And that's when I realized so much of what hurts us isn't what people see, it's what goes unseen. See, grief isn't just about death. It's about change. It's about endings. It's about the spaces in between who we were and who we're becoming. A divorce isn't just the loss of a relationship. It's the loss of dreams, of the future you thought you were building. Retirement isn't just freedom. It can be a loss of identity, of purpose, of routine. And even something as simple as moving can feel like grief because you're leaving behind your favourite coffee shop, your family, your friends, your neighbour who always waved, and the grocery store that felt like home. But because nobody talks about these things as grief, we don't give ourselves permission to grieve them. See, most of us are told, get over it, move on, or you know what, it just wasn't a big deal. And let me tell you, that message, those dismissals, they compound the pain and they teach us to invalidate our own feelings. And when feelings aren't processed, they don't disappear. They sit buried and they start shaping the way we think, behave and connect with others. See, when grief is ignored, it shows up in ways we might not even connect to the original loss. See, maybe you find yourself snapping at the people you love. Maybe you feel restless, like something's always missing, but you can't put your finger on it. Or maybe you turn to numbing with food, scrolling, wine, just to quiet that ache. That, my friends, is unacknowledged grief, and it can feel like you're walking around with a stone in your shoe. You adjust your step, you limp a little, you adapt, but the discomfort never really leaves you until you finally stop, take the shoe off and deal with what's inside. So how do we deal with that? Where do we even begin? Well, the first step is to simply name it. Give yourself permission to say, you know what, this is grief. Even if it's the end of a friendship, even if it's moving away, even if it's a dream that didn't work out. And here are some ways you can start. So first off, journal. Write down your losses you've experienced that no one acknowledged. Doesn't matter if they're big, small, even if they were years ago. Name them, talk it out, share with a trusted friend, a coach, or even a therapist. See, because what you're carrying is grief and it still bothers you. Now you can try creative expression because sometimes grief comes out through painting, music, poetry, or even gardening. The beautiful thing is that creativity has a way of giving voice to what we can't say. So find something you enjoy doing. And then there's personal rituals. See, you don't need a funeral to honour a loss. You could light a candle, plant a tree, create a ritual that says, this mattered to me. And most importantly, practice self-compassion. Stop telling yourself to get over it. Instead, remind yourself this was real, this mattered, and all my feelings are valid. See, here's the thing. Healing doesn't happen in isolation. That's why I do the work I do. In my coaching programs, I help women in midlife uncover these unspoken griefs and process them and move forward with clarity and confidence. Because when we heal what hurts, we can finally start living what's next. And you don't have to start big. Sometimes it's about simply taking one small step, like downloading a tool, writing down one loss you've never named, trying a new way of expressing what's been locked up inside. And in case you're new to my channel, I've created some free resources to help you do exactly that. I have a guided sleep meditation, which is perfect for calming a restless mind, 61 tips on navigating through grief, and my 4-week wine pause journal if you've been leaning on wine to numb those emotions. And I have a grief journal that's called Giving Grief a Voice, and you can find it on Amazon, so I'll pop all the links below. See, these are little lifelines to remind you you're not alone and you can move forward. So let me ask you, what's one loss in your life that you've never named as grief? But deep down, you know it is. Share it in the comments if you feel comfortable, because you know it might just give someone else permission to recognize their own. And if this resonated with you, hit that like button, share this video with someone who might need it, and please subscribe to this channel, because every week I share tools and conversations to help you heal what hurts and live what's next. Remember, your grief doesn't have to stay unspoken. When you name it, you take the first steps towards releasing it. And that, my friend, is where freedom begins. So thanks for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.